Everybody has been playing the newly released NCAA football, and for good reason. Although it can look and feel like a Madden clone at times, College Football 25 was at the bare minimum given 2 years of development time to enhance Madden's formula and make the gameplay feel fast, fluid, and responsive. I've also enjoyed Dynasty and Road to Glory, so expect some rebuild and career videos in the future. But after the hype has died down, the cracks in both those game modes are starting to show, which has caused me to look back on the sports games from the early 2000s, which was when sports games were at their peak both creatively and passionately. In today's video, I'll be going over 4 canceled EA Sports games that should be brought back from the dead.
Number 4.
During the PlayStation 2, original Xbox, and GameCube era, EA offered a large variety of different sports games, from the most popular leagues to college and even arcade sports games. But EA also made games focusing on niche sports, like rugby and cricket, but the one that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is Arena Football. Now I know what you're probably thinking, why the hell would EA ever make an Arena Football game? But the league was different enough from the NFL to warrant not one, but 2 different games in 2006 and 7. Arena football is played indoors, on a field that is 50 yards instead of the usual 100-yard football field. For the most part, the sport is played like standard football, with some specific differences, like punting being illegal on 4th down, and the sidelines being separated from the field of play by a wall, meaning that a player is deemed down when he is tackled or comes into contact with the wall. Also in arena football, it's not unusual for a team to score 50, 60, or even 70 points because of the short length of field. This made the 2 arena football games feel incredibly arcadey, with fast, high-scoring offenses, and a defense that was no longer limited by the no-fun league, meaning that players could talk trash, helmets could pop off, and players could be tackled out of bounds over the wall. For over a decade, Madden's gameplay has felt closer to an arcade style rather than a simulation one, which is what makes the fans so critical of Madden, since it's the only simulation game on the market. However, if EA Sports decided to release a new arena football title with fast arcade gameplay, additional animations, and more creative ambitions, I don't think fans would be as critical as they are with Madden.
Number 3.
It would only make sense that if EA were to bring back college football, then they should also bring back college basketball. There was an 11-year gap between NCAA Football 14 and College Football 25, and it's been even longer since the last college basketball game released, with NCAA Basketball 10 releasing 15 years ago in 2009. You could argue that it would make more sense for EA to bring back another canceled basketball series, and if that's what you're thinking about right now, just watch the video a little longer. It makes a lot of sense for EA Sports to return to basketball by choosing the college route first. First of all, they would avoid directly competing with 2K, which killed them not once but twice, and they would also avoid spending a huge amount of money towards the NBA Players Association. In case you're not aware, EA pays the NFL $1 billion every year for the licensing rights to the NFL. They also pay an additional $500 million to the NFL Players Association. Now, I'm not sure how much EA had to pay the NCAA for the 134 FBS teams to be in College Football 25, but they agreed to pay each college player that appears in the game $600. Since there's over 11,000 players in college football, you would assume that EA had to dish out a lot of money, but it's actually estimated that EA only paid the players between $6 million and $12 million, compared to the $500 million that they send to the NFL players every single year. So EA making another college basketball game makes complete sense, as they would avoid dishing out hundreds of millions of dollars to the NBA and its players, and fans would eat the game up just like they did with College Football 25, as long as it has a dynasty mode with lots of replayability and fun gameplay on both ends of the court.
Number 2.
Arguably, the one sports game that fans want EA to bring back the most is the NBA Live franchise. NBA Live features the most recent release out of all the games on this list. For the majority of the 2000s, NBA Live was the preferred basketball game for most fans. However, that was 3 console generations ago, and the first death of the NBA Live franchise occurred in 2010. Although bearing a different title, NBA Elite 11 was the scheduled sequel to NBA Live 10. Elite 11 was scheduled to release on November 5th, 2010. However, the pre-release demo was so broken that EA executives deemed the game's quality too poor to sell, meaning that NBA Elite 11 and the NBA Live franchise were put on hold till 2013, when NBA Live 14 released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Although the game was an improvement, NBA Live 14 to this day is the worst official release from EA Sports. The gameplay was atrocious, and the graphics were terrible on their own, but looked even worse compared to its competitor, 2K14. EA made improvements with Live 15 and 16, but it was clear that they were way behind 2K games. Internally, EA decided to restart from the ground up, skipping NBA Live 17 and giving NBA Live 18 2 years of development before its release. It was a significant jump in quality, and the gap between 2K and EA shrunk after the noticeable dip in quality with 2K18. The following year, EA decided to release NBA Live 19 halfway through the NBA season, giving the developers an extra 4 months to make gameplay improvements, which they did. NBA Live 19 is easily the best entry of the 2010s. However, EA decided to pull the plug as they couldn't financially compete with the success of 2K. 5 years later, and there's never been a bigger demand for a new NBA video game. The culture behind 2K has changed over the years, and they now participate in the same practices as EA, shoving microtransactions into the career mode and focusing more resources toward this card-based game mode, My Team. There have been rumors that EA will soon return to the NBA Live franchise, however, nothing has been confirmed. If the franchise does return, and EA has been working on it behind the scenes for a few years, then hopefully that will scare 2K into taking its game more seriously.
Number 1.
Now, since this is my channel, I saved the number 1 spot for the game that I want to return the most, and that's the NFL Coach franchise, if you can even call it a franchise. To date, there has only been 2 NFL Coach entries, one for the 6th gen in 2006 and one for the 7th gen in 2008. It makes complete sense why EA abandoned these games, and that's because they only appeal to a small niche of gamers. NFL Coach is not for the casual fan, as these games are full-on simulators with RPG elements. Unlike Madden, you don't control the players during the games. You can call plays and you can make audibles at the line of scrimmage, but once you hike the ball, you're at the mercy of the AI. Now, this would be a nightmare in the current Madden and college football engines, as the offensive AI is not only stupid, but janky. There's been a lot of attention brought to college football's coach mode, or should I say the coach option. Once you hike the ball, if you don't press or move anything on your controller, the AI will finish the play for you. The only problem is that the AI is incapable of running a read option. No matter what, 100% of the time, the quarterback will always hand the option off to the running back and never keep it for himself. NFL Coach offers a lot more than just calling plays and watching on the sidelines, as the majority of your time will be spent doing different tasks and activities on a day-to-day basis. You'll have conversations with your players and coordinators. You'll set up practice and run different drills. You'll make trades, set up interviews, and sign contracts with both players and staff, although the chances of an NFL Coach game coming back are nearly zero. EA has no incentive to make the game, however, it would still make sense from a brand perspective to begin development of a new entry. Like I said before, Madden is marketed as a simulation NFL game, when in reality it feels much more like an arcade game. To please the large crowd of fans that are begging for a simulation game, they should release the 3rd NFL Coach game. Maybe with this hypothetical entry, the game would feel different enough from Madden that we could be given the option to control the players, as this would be a simulation style game compared to the arcade gameplay of Madden. Unfortunately for us consumers, there's no way that EA would take a financial risk on most of these games. There's a good chance that NBA Live and its little brother NCAA Basketball could both return in the near future. However, there's absolutely no incentive for a new arena football entry, and the fan base isn't big enough to warrant a new NFL Coach game. If you stayed till now, thank you. That means you enjoyed this video, and if you're looking for more, go ahead and check out my main channel that I'll link in the description. I just released a video detailing both the good and the bad with College Football 25, so subscribe to both channels and be on the lookout for more videos soon.